Welcome back, my students, to a brand new episode of Comic Class. Today's lesson is related against Stanley Stage Goes The Amazing Spider-Man issue 37. Once upon a time, there was a robot. And yeah, this is the introduction, I believe, to Mendel Strom, who is the co-worker of Norman Osborn. And yeah, he's also known as Professor Strong to some people, especially his henchman, his like right hand man, refers to him as Professor Strong. So yeah, he's a very important character to Spider-Man mythos. And but without further ado, let's jump right into today's story. Let's go. So this story basically starts off with Mendel Strom in prison, basically being released from prison after he served his time. And yeah, I believe that he's been in jail for 10 years. And in these 10 years, he's basically been a good modeled prisoner, and this is why he's getting off, I believe, early or something like that. I think he's getting out early. That or he served his full term. But he has someone waiting for him outside, and they're gonna start planning their revenge on the person that framed him and got him into jail. And it will be more explained later on in the issue. Now, there's a guy that basically tries to take a shot at Mendel Strom and basically tries to kill people, basically, that are working with him or something like that. But the guy gets stopped by Spider-Man, and he basically tells him to talk and reveal exactly why they're following Mendel Strom and stuff like that. And Spider-Man gets into the car with this dude and basically has him drive him and tell, Mendel Strom and the rest of his cronies, basically. Eventually, they lose him, though, and Spider-Man has to go off on his own and get out of that car and basically go into the city. And yeah, so next thing we get to see is that J. Jonah Jameson is basically getting new secretaries like every issue, and this is like a running gag for the next few issues, I believe, since Betty Brant left. And yeah, it's pretty interesting because J. Jonah Jameson basically blames Peter for Betty Brant basically leaving, and to him, Betty Brant is more valuable than Peter, of course, because he has people that do stories. But to have a good secretary is very hard, especially working under J. Jonah Jameson, it seems. Going to the next thing, we get to see that Peter basically is not letting his classmates basically get under his skin, and this shows a lot of development in his character since high school, and that he would let what other people say really affect him. And it seems like now he's getting to the point where he's finally just accepted that some people are just gonna like hate on you, and so that's pretty cool. Now we get to see that Mendel Strom is working on these different types of robots, some looking organic, some being completely metallic, and he's able to control these robots with his mind. It seems with like this mind control, or remote mind device basically that puts on his head and controls the robots with thoughts and stuff. So Spider-Man goes into a burning building and he realizes that this robot, this organic looking robot, is being controlled somehow, and he gets to a fight with it, and the fight is pretty cool. And the robot's pretty cool. It basically is overpowering Spider-Man and is showing the intelligence of Mendel Strom. And this will be very important for the future. For those that know about the Green Goblin, you know where this is going. But Peter comes up with the idea of, basically putting himself in the robot into a thing of fire, risking burning himself, basically. But he has Spider-Man's durability is enough to handle the fire for a few moments, and is able to get the robot off him, and basically, I guess it explodes or something. It basically gets destroyed. And I think the entire building also collapses as well, which is probably what destroyed the robot. But yeah, so Mendel Strom is okay with that robot being defeated because he has another robot being built right now that has the ability to shoot like laser beams and looks completely metallic. Now this is where we get revealed to Norman Osborn, which is Harry Osborn's dad. This isn't our first time seeing him, but this is where we get more of his personality, and that he has a strained relationship with his son. Basically not respecting anything that he says. He has a horrible relationship with his son. But it's revealed to us that Professor Strom that he basically screwed him out of one of his inventions, and then he got him into jail by blackmailing him or something like that. And Strom has been saying that he wants to get revenge on Norman Osborn, because he basically had begun to threaten Norman Osborn, and then Norman Osborn basically screwed him over and got him into jail because Norman was basically screwing him out of his inventions. So yeah, definitely Norman's not a good dude. Eventually, Peter makes his way to where Foswell in the identity of Patch basically goes to try to get information on Professor Strom. As he's been telling him since the beginning of the issue, he was the guy that was basically, I believe, almost got shot by that guy, if I'm correct. Maybe that was Strom, or maybe it was just one of his lackeys, but I believe it was Foswell. Foswell's still trying to get information, still making it seem like he's not a villain, which he was the big man, but he said that he basically turned over a new leaf and is a good guy now, and he hasn't really been shown to do any bad things, so we'll see when exactly if he'll ever turn back to the big man and lead the enforcers again. Now, basically, we've shown again that this robot has the ability to shoot lasers, and he's very dangerous. Eventually, Peter's able to save Foswell, as Foswell was going to get killed by Professor Strom and his henchmen. And after he finds a way out and tells Strom that, not Strom, that he tells Foswell that he'll be fine where he's at, and that he goes after Professor Strom and his henchmen. And while they're basically in their base, Spider-Man has to go basically save Norman Osborn because they sent the robot, this metallic robot, to basically go and kill Norman Osborn. So the robot basically starts destroying all of the office of Norman Osborn, saying that it's going to destroy everything that he has. And then it's going to kill him basically right after. When Spider-Man comes through the window, it basically begins a fight with the metallic robot. The metallic robot tries to use its laser beam to basically kill Spider-Man, but it never lands a hit on him because of his spider agility and his spider sense. He's routinely able to react to beams of light, which is a very impressive feat for this version of Spider-Man, the Steve Ditko Stan Lee, considering this is the first version of Spider-Man that ever existed. And yeah, very cool fight scene. Eventually, as Peter's dodging these light attacks, basically from this robot, Norman Osborn comes behind him and hits him with some concrete. And this is another little hint that something's off about Norman Osborn. He's not just some regular dude. And for those of us that know who Norman Osborn is, yeah, that reveal is going to be pretty obvious. But yeah, so right there's a little hint that he's not just some normal human. He definitely has built above human level of strength. He'll just grab a giant piece of concrete and just smash it over Spider-Man's head. It kind of knocks Spider-Man down for a bit, and Norman basically tries to escape, and it will be explained why he escaped. But Peter gets up and he goes into battle with the robot again. He dodges one of the robot's light beam attacks instantly at point blank range. Probably the most impressive feat in this run, probably, other than lifting that giant piece of machinery in issue 33. He finally gets the robot off of its balance and is able to defeat it by knocking it to the ground. And yeah, so Professor Strom is basically, it looks like he's defeated when the henchman basically makes a run for it. And Foswell basically puts him at gunpoint and says that he's not going to go anywhere. He's going to give him to the police. So Strom basically grabs the robot's torso, which still has the head attached and the laser beam that it has. And Peter basically has enough of this fight, and he uses his webbing to grab the torso of the robot and just slam it into the wall, which I guess destroyed it as it's firing its laser beam. So I don't know if the laser being destroyed it or it was it being pushed into the laser, its own laser by Spider-Man using his webbing and smashing into the wall. But Professor Strom's basically defeated, and someone at the window basically points a gun at Foswell, and Peter basically pushes him out of the way as his spider sense activates, and he knows that this person's going to try killing Foswell. And Foswell basically has a heart attack and he dies before he can give the information on who exactly was the person he was trying to get his revenge on. We know this is Norman Osborn, that he's trying to take revenge on, but he wasn't able to tell Peter before he had the heart attack and he basically died. And Foswell basically confirms that the guy's dead. So basically after that, after he dies, we get to see that Peter basically leaves Foswell to tell the police what exactly happened, because it's better if he does it as official news reporter for the Daily Bugle. And yeah, we get to see that Harry basically goes to Norman Osborn to tell him about, to tell him that J. Jonah Jameson was there. And J. Jonah Jameson basically tells him about what happened with Professor Strom, and Norman basically says that, he's happy to hear that, and that, he doesn't understand why Strom wanted to get revenge on him. Of course, this is all a lie for Norman Osborn. It's revealed to us as J. Jonah Jameson leaves that it was Norman Osborn that had the gun at the window. And, Peter basically is walking, throughout the city, and, as Peter Parker, he's thinking about what happened, and they could have swore that he saw a gun, and there's no way that a normal man could have been up there, because there was no ladder, there was no nothing. And again, little hints like that we know it's Norman Osborn, but how exactly did he get up to that window? There's no way to get up there. If you put two and two together, you know exactly who Norman Osborn is. Most of us do. But keeping in spirit for this run review that I'm doing, I'm not going to say it, and we'll talk about that when we start the John Romita Stan Lee run, right after we finish this run of Stan Lee's Ditko. And that's basically how the issue ends. So Peter basically contemplating, trying to figure out who exactly was at the window, and if he had imagined it at all, or if it was really someone there, and how exactly could they do it. And yeah, that's how the issue ends. And that was Stan Lee as Ditko's The Amazing Spider-Man, issue 37, Once Upon a Time There Was a Robot. This was the introduction of Mindel Strom, very important character to the Spider-Man mythos, very important to Norman Osborn's character, and a villain in the Spider-Man's Rogues Gallery, which will be revealed in, I think, the next 3 or 4 issues. And yeah, I believe it should be revealed in like 3 or 4. Maybe it's way later, but I do believe it's like in 3 or 4. But yeah, overall, really solid issue compared to a lot of other ones. This was very important for the wider range of Spider-Man stories from this point forward. And this information and this interaction that Spider-Man had with Mindel Strom will have effects for the future of the Spider-Man mythos, and basically any Spider-Man iteration from this point forward. And yeah, overall, very good issue. I recommend you go check it out. Also, go check out the previous videos if you haven't checked the Stan Lee Ditko playlist out yet. Go check that out at the end of this video, at the end card. And yeah, until next video, God bless you. Until next lesson, keep on reading those comments.